What if I told you that one of the most powerful things you can do for your brain, your heart, your balance, your mood, and your independence after 70 is not a fancy machine, not an expensive supplement, and not a punishing workout, but one simple movement your body was designed to do from the very beginning. And even more surprising, many older adults may begin to feel the difference not after 6 months of suffering, but after just a couple of focused hours spread through the week. That matters because after 70, decline rarely happens all at once. It happens quietly, a little less stamina, a little more stiffness getting out of a chair, a little more hesitation on stairs, a little more fear of falling, a little more dependence creeping into daily life. And if you ignore those small changes, they don't usually stay small. I'm Dr. Thomas Reynolds, and today I want to talk to you about the #1 simple exercise I recommend most often to older adults who want to stay mobile, steady, sharp, and independent for as long as possible. That exercise is walking. Not extreme walking, not competitive walking, not walking until you're exhausted. Just simple, intentional, regular walking. And in this video, I'm going to show you why as little as 2 hours a week of purposeful walking can be so powerful after 70. What it does inside the body, why it works so well for aging adults in particular, the mistakes that make it less effective, and how to start safely even if you feel stiff, out of shape, or discouraged right now. And please stay with me because the biggest benefit of walking after 70 is not the one most people talk about. Yes, it may help your heart. Yes, it may help your joints. But the deepest transformation for many older adults is something much more personal. It's confidence. It's freedom. It's the feeling that your body is still working with you instead of against you. If that sounds like something you want more of, then this video is for you. Now, when I say 2 hours, I do not mean you have to go out and walk for 2 straight hours like you're crossing a mountain trail. I mean a total of about 120 minutes across the week. That could be 20 minutes a day for 6 days. It could be 30 minutes 4 times a week. It could even begin as 10 minutes at a time if that's where you are right now. That is the beauty of walking. It meets you where you are. And that matters after 70, because one of the biggest mistakes older adults make is assuming that if they can't do a lot, there's no point doing a little. But the body does not think that way. The body responds to signals. It responds to repetition. It responds to rhythm. Small efforts, done consistently, often matter far more than rare heroic efforts that leave you sore, frustrated, or injured. So let's talk about what this one simple exercise may actually do for you. The first reason walking can transform life after 70 is that it helps protect mobility before mobility slips away. Most people wait until walking becomes difficult to start caring about walking. That is backwards. Walking is not just a result of good health. It is one of the things that helps preserve it. When you walk regularly, you are reminding your muscles, joints, nerves, and brain how to work together. You are reinforcing a movement pattern that daily life depends on. Standing up, turning, shifting weight, pushing off, catching yourself, adjusting to uneven ground. All of that lives inside a simple walk. Think of it like keeping the wiring active in an older house. If a room is never used, The switches get unreliable, the bulbs go dim, and eventually the whole system starts feeling fragile. The same thing happens in the body. Movement pathways that aren't used begin to weaken. Muscles lose responsiveness. Steps become shorter. Reaction time slows. Confidence drops. Walking helps interrupt that decline. And for older adults, that means more than exercise. It means preserving the ability to shop, cook, visit family, walk through a parking lot, enjoy a vacation, or simply move through your own home without fear. That is not a small thing. That is dignity. The second reason walking is so powerful is that it supports circulation. And circulation is life after 70. Your heart is the pump. Your blood vessels are the delivery system. And your muscles, brain, kidneys, and joints all depend on steady delivery, oxygen, nutrients, hormonal signals, waste removal. It all travels through that internal road system. As we age, that system often gets less flexible. Arteries may stiffen, blood pressure may rise, endurance may fall. And when circulation becomes less efficient, older adults often feel it as fatigue, heaviness, brain fog, cold feet, slow recovery, or simply a sense that the body doesn't bounce back the way it used to. Walking helps because it encourages blood flow without overwhelming the body. It's like turning on a gentle but steady current through pipes that have been sitting too still. You're not blasting the system, you're waking it up. And that steady circulation may help support heart health, blood pressure control, and even energy over time. Not overnight, not magically, but meaningfully. This is especially important for seniors because many of the conditions that threaten independence, heart disease, stroke risk, diabetes, poor wound healing, and even some forms of cognitive decline are tied in part to circulation and metabolic health. Walking works at the level of the whole system. That's one reason it's so valuable. And here is what many people misunderstand. The goal is not speed first. The goal is consistency first. Some older adults think, if I'm not power walking, it doesn't count. It counts. If your body is moving more than it was, if your breathing is slightly deeper, if your arms are swinging, if your stride has intention, it counts. You can build intensity later if appropriate, but never let the idea of perfect exercise stop you from doing useful exercise. The third reason walking can be transformative after 70 is that it supports the brain more than many people realize. This is one of the hidden truths of aging. People think of walking as a leg exercise. It isn't. It's also a brain exercise. Every step requires timing, balance, coordination, spatial awareness, and constant communication between the brain and the body. When you walk regularly, especially with attention and rhythm, you are training those communication pathways. You are asking the brain to stay involved, alert, and responsive. And beyond that, physical movement has been associated with better mood, better sleep, and healthier cognitive aging in many older adults. Why? Because the brain likes blood flow, it likes oxygen, it likes routine, it likes signals that the body is still engaged with life. When older adults stop moving, the loss is rarely just physical. The world gets smaller, stimulation decreases, confidence fades, mood may darken, isolation becomes easier. Walking pushes against that. Even a simple daily walk can reconnect you with sunlight, fresh air, rhythm, neighborhood sounds, and the feeling of participation in your own life. That matters. Especially after 70, when loneliness and inactivity can quietly become their own health problems. And let me say this gently but clearly. If you felt more down, more sluggish, more mentally dull, or less like yourself lately, movement may not solve everything, but it may help more than you think. Not because it's dramatic, because it's foundational. Now, the fourth reason walking is so important is one that many seniors feel in their bones, literally. It helps support balance, stability, and fall prevention. Most older adults do not fear exercise. They fear falling. And that fear is understandable. One bad fall can change everything. Confidence, mobility, pain levels, independence, even where you live. But here is the contradiction. Avoiding movement because you're afraid of falling can eventually make you more likely to fall. Why? Because balance is not a fixed gift. It is a skill. It has to be practiced. It has to be challenged gently. It has to stay alive. Walking, especially on safe surfaces and at an appropriate pace, helps the body keep practicing balance in real life. Every step is a conversation between the feet, ankles, hips, core, eyes, and brain. The body is constantly making tiny corrections, tiny stabilizations, tiny saves. That is what balance really is. And after 70, if you don't rehearse those corrections, they become weaker. Now, I'm not telling you to go walk on gravel hills if you already feel unsteady. This is where judgment matters. Start safely. Use supportive shoes. Walk in well-lit areas. Consider indoor walking at a mall, hallway, or community center if weather or uneven ground worries you. If you need a cane or walker, use it. That is not weakness. That is wisdom. Because the goal is not to prove something. The goal is to preserve something. Your safety, your confidence, your ability to keep moving tomorrow. And that brings us to the fifth reason this exercise may transform life after 70. It can help restore a sense of control. This may be the most important one of all. Aging can feel like a series of losses you never asked for. The body is slower, recovery takes longer, medications multiply, lab numbers change, friends move away or pass away. Sometimes you start feeling as if your life is being managed by appointments, instructions, and limitations. Walking pushes back against that feeling because a walk is a choice you make. A step is something you still do. A routine is something you still build. And every time you complete a walk, even a short one, you are sending yourself a message. I am not done. I am still participating in my own future. That message is powerful. It changes how people carry themselves. It changes what they believe is still possible. It changes whether they keep trying. And after 70, that mindset matters more than many people understand. Now, if this is speaking to you, take a moment to subscribe and like the video, because this channel is here to help you stay strong, informed, and independent with practical advice that respects both your age and your potential. Let's talk now about the 2 hours part, because this is where walking becomes realistic. If I tell an older adult to start exercising, the mind often jumps to something exhausting, inconvenient, or painful. That's why so many people quit before they begin. But 2 hours a week is different. 2 hours a week says, I can try that. I can split that up. I can fit that in. I don't have to become an athlete. I just have to become consistent. Here's a very simple approach. If you're just beginning, start with 10 minutes a day. That's it. 10 minutes at a comfortable pace. Stand tall. Let the arms move naturally. Breathe steadily. If 10 minutes feels easy after several days, go to 12 or 15. Then build toward 20 minutes most days of the week. If you're already somewhat active, aim for 25 to 30 minutes on 4 or 5 days a week. That gets you close to or beyond the 2-hour mark. And that amount may be enough to begin noticing real differences in stamina, mood, and confidence when done consistently. Now let me tell you what not to do. Don't start too aggressively because you feel inspired today. Inspiration is wonderful. Injury is not. Don't wear unsupportive shoes. Your knees, hips, and lower back will notice. Don't hunch forward and shuffle if you can help it. Lift gently through the chest. Look ahead. Let the stride be natural. Don't walk only when you feel motivated. Routine beats motivation almost every time. And don't ignore warning signs. If you experience chest pain, severe shortness of breath, dizziness, sudden weakness, or anything that feels unusual or alarming, stop and speak with a physician. And if you have serious heart disease, advanced lung disease, severe arthritis, neurologic problems, or recent surgery, get personalized guidance before beginning a new routine. That is not fear. That is good medicine. Now let's make this even more practical. What benefits might you notice over time? In the first few days, many people notice something subtle. They feel less stuck, less stagnant. Sometimes sleep improves a bit. Sometimes mood lifts slightly. Sometimes bowel function becomes more regular. These are small things, but they matter. Over a few weeks, some older adults begin to notice that getting up from a chair feels easier. Stairs feel a little less intimidating, and everyday walking feels smoother. Endurance may improve. Confidence may improve. The body starts remembering. Over longer periods, when walking becomes a habit, that is where the bigger changes often happen. Better stamina, better blood sugar control in many people, better cardiovascular support, better mobility, better resilience. Not perfection, but capacity. And capacity is what protects independence. Because independence is not built from one giant decision. It is built from dozens of little abilities staying alive at the same time. Being able to get dressed, carry groceries, cross a street, stand at the sink, visit a friend, walk from the bedroom to the bathroom at night without fear. Walking supports that whole web of daily function. That is why I care about it so much. And let me speak now to the person watching who feels behind. Maybe you used to be active. Maybe you used to hike. Maybe you used to dance. Maybe now a short walk feels like a disappointment. Please don't measure today's walk against the strongest version of your past. Measure it against doing nothing, because that is the real comparison that matters now. A 5-minute walk is not failure if the alternative was the recliner. A 10-minute walk is not too little if the alternative was another month of decline. A slow walk is not pointless if it helps keep your world from shrinking. You are not training for someone else's body. You are protecting your own future. And that changes everything. Sometimes family members mean well, but they speak to older adults as if the only goal is to stay busy. I think the goal is deeper than that. The goal is to stay capable, to stay steady, to stay involved in your own life, to keep enough strength and confidence that you still recognize yourself in the mirror. Walking helps support that version of aging. Not perfect aging, not fearless aging, but strong, practical, dignified aging. So if you're over 70 and you've been waiting for a sign that it's not too late to start, let this be that sign. Start small. Start safe. Start this week. Walk the hallway. Walk the driveway. Walk to the corner and back. Walk with a friend. Walk with your spouse. Walk alone if you enjoy the quiet. But walk with intention, because this one simple exercise is doing more than moving your legs. It is training your heart, feeding your brain, practicing your balance, protecting your stamina, and reminding you that your body still responds when you ask something of it. And that response, however modest at first, can change the direction of the years ahead. The truth is, life after 70 is not only about avoiding disease, it is about preserving function, preserving freedom, preserving the ordinary abilities that make life feel like your own. So no, walking is not glamorous. No, it is not a miracle. No, it will not solve every problem, but it may be one of the smartest, safest, most life-giving habits you can build. And sometimes the simplest answer really is the most powerful one. Thank you for spending this time with me. If this video encouraged you, leave a comment and tell me your age and how many minutes you plan to walk this week. And if you want more practical, reassuring guidance for healthy aging, subscribe and keep learning with me. Your body may be older, yes, but it is still listening. And every good step you take from here still counts.